I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
LaFleur's still the head coach of the Green Bay Packers.
Yes, he is.
Got a new DC, though.
That's right.
Who's that?
Jonathan Gannon, former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. So let's just say I got a fresh fire in my gut this morning. Would have taken the bus to work had the bus has been running today. But yeah, I mean, I know we're talking about Mike McCarthy. I think you could argue that this is the smash hit home run hiring of this entire cycle. Yeah, head coach, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, you name it.
As DC, he had success.
Yeah, correct.
2021, 2022, Eagles DC, 21.4 points per game, 11th in the NFL. That's top third.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now it's Cardinals, different story.
Yeah, he wasn't calling plays.
But was he a part of it is the question, or is he just eager to get back into the headset to start dialing it up and not having to worry about all the other stuff that comes alongside being a head coach, which we have certainly seen before.
Shout out to the Pat McAfee Show, Ty Schmidt, ESPN, doing his best to verbalize, I think, how we all felt.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I'd say he nailed it.
What's up, Wisconsin? Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday. Hey, happy Tuesday.
It is.
Man. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. When you do what we do, I literally have to take a moment every morning and go, okay, what day is it?
Yeah.
Do you do that too?
A lot of times, but especially during this part of the year. I feel like we're in this weird zone.
Tweener.
It's not necessarily like the dry season that's coming up, but it's like this in between where there's not a football game this weekend, and you're going, okay, wait, is it the weekend? No, the week just started. What is today?
Right.
And that's the thought process that gets you there.
It shouldn't happen on a Tuesday because it's not like there was a lot of days before this, but you wake up at 4 a.m. and I literally stand in my bathroom and go, okay, I think it's Tuesday. What do we have going on today? Because I'm just half asleep. I mean, beyond half asleep.
Yeah.
Most of the time when my alarm goes off. All right. Speaking of tweener season, I guess let's play catch up and stuff because there's a lot to cover. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks, and other. And believe it or not, we found something which we promise you we will do every day. When we play catch up, we will find something to share with you that hopefully you don't know anything about. Here we go.
Packers.
Are we happy about a coach following Hafley, specifically Ryan Downard, the defensive back / secondary coach? It says secondary coach. That makes me think he's also in charge of the D-backs. And last I checked, that's not a great spot for the Green Bay Packers. So how do we feel about Ryan, according to the Miami Herald, heading to Miami with Jeff Hafley?
At first, I was a little worried about it, not because of him specifically, but a lot of people had said once Hafley was hired in Miami, now who's he going to take with him? Mm-hmm. How many people are going to leave? Which wasn't something we talked about, but it is something to think about in regards to what is it that is making these guys go, no, I'll go with Hafley to Miami instead of wanting to stay on LaFleur's team. And can you continue coaching under LaFleur unless it's a promotion, right? If it's promoting, then sure, that's different. But that didn't seem to be the case here.
Weather?
Okay, but sure. But isn't it looking at the opportunity to win? Like, do people really think right now, going into next season, the Miami Dolphins are in any way, shape, or form ready to be a competitive team?
But when a coaching change happens, it's not guaranteed that you're going to stay on. I mean, when they're bringing in a new defensive coordinator, is that not do they not have the ability to just go start over?
That's true. Hey, I'm new here. I'm cleaning house.
Yeah. So for some of these guys, they may not feel like they have a job, or maybe had been tipped off that they weren't going to have a job. And so if you're Jeff Hafley, who I don't know if you listen to those two dudes talk, but I'd run through the wall for one and take the bus for the other. So maybe you just go with the guy that you're familiar with, who maybe had something to do with you being here in the first place. And it's a step up in your career. They didn't say what job he was going to take, at least not that I saw. But yeah, if there is a position, though, on defense that I had the most questions about, it's the secondary. So when I saw the news that the Packers secondary coach was headed to Miami with Jeff Hafley, I was like, cool.
Yeah. Of all the guys that were going to go, you're like, well, it's not like you were doing a great job.
Right.
Which we don't know. We don't know, but it sure felt that way.
Listen, we only know what we know, and we make up the rest.
Right. And we
So
don't
if
know
we
a
see-
lot.
Right, but so what? That's why we get paid to make stuff up on the radio
100%.
and fire people up. Speaking of firing people up, if you're fired up and have an opinion on that or anything else, hit us up on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. That's your direct line to us. Call, text, whatever you so choose. When you see Keyshawn Nixon make a business decision to not go anywhere near the guy crossing the goal line, I look and go, okay, Ryan, maybe Miami's better for you. But I digress. Out of all the news, though, the patience game still lives.
Yep. It sure seems like the Packers are just going to wait for other people to leave before they bring people in. Let's just see who leaves first. And then we'll decide who we got to get rid of.
I'm in a eating crow season of my life, apparently. If they make no moves, I fully expect you to go grab that audio of me going, Josh, just be patient. Settle down. It's going to be fine.
Yep. Yeah, it's marked. Don't worry about it.
Right now, it feels like they're running this thing back. And that scares me.
Welcome. Yeah. It is.
I'm not there yet. Give us a second.
Okay.
We got time. What did I say? Between now and the Super Bowl, I think is what I said, right?
I feel like you said like the 23rd, but maybe it was
23rd. No.
No,
There's no way, because I looked up the stats on when they made moves in
maybe
the
you
past.
said 31st. You could have said 31st.
All right. Well, why don't you go find your mark and figure out what I said, and we'll talk.
I will.
Worry about that later.
All right.
My apologies, by the way, to Ed Policy. Almost ran him over in the gym after work yesterday.
Oh.
I was coming around the corner, and I am a much larger mammal than him. I caused him to have to get out of the way. My bad. Said, excuse me. I just wanted to publicly apologize to Ed Policy for almost running him over.
Almost,
with my body.
in quotes.
I did not bump him. I was close, but I'm like, that is so my life.
Maybe
I sit and run my mouth on the radio, and then poof, I'm right in front of him.
Maybe you should give him a little bump draft, Just let him know.
Yeah, not so much.
Welcome to Green Bay.
Packers, Brewers are next.
Brewers.
So the new guys talked yesterday.
They did.
Jet Williams. And it's not, listen, maybe I have an expectation that people just have personality and energy. But between him and Sproat, you heard these guys and you're like, okay.
Yeah. So yesterday, the Brewers set up a Zoom for some of the media in town to talk, ask questions with the new guys, right? The two new young guys. We were very excited when we heard this. I was ecstatic because I was like, oh, thank God we got some audio. We get to hear from some guys. This will be great. And then you went back and you listened to it, and they sound young. They sound very young. This was Brandon Sproat's answer to if he's aware or friends with anyone already in the Brewers organization.
But I don't know anybody in the Brewers organization. I know of Quinn Priester, but what I really do like and respect is I actually have had Freelick reach out to me already. I've had Woodruff reach out, DL Hall, Bryce Terang. So I really respect them reaching out to me, especially position players as well. So that's really good.
Oh, God.
So I'm going to take a quick second. I'm going to try to help Brandon Sproat here for a second. I don't think he meant, I'm hoping he didn't mean that when he said, I'm aware of Quinn Priester, he meant like, that's the only person currently on the major league roster for the Milwaukee Brewers that I knew prior to being traded.
I'm aware of. Are you aware of Christian Yelich?
I was like, this is a team that was in the NLCS last year with an former MVP. And you don't, if the only guy you know is Quinn Priester of all the guys, that's the guy. It was that was an interesting answer that I kind of went, all right, yeah, these guys are just young, like they're just young, and they'll get there.
And
that was
interesting. And for the second day in a row, Josh has found his most non-electrifying sound of the day.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that too.
You know what? That's a challenge. One
I don't
day,
want it to be.
Yep, all week. That's my challenge. You're going to find the most non-electrifying sound of the day from Wisconsin sports, because that's just where we're at. A not very electrifying season of Wisconsin sports at the moment. If there's something super electrifying, go get it.
Yeah.
But you also need to find a non-electrifying sound, because so far,
I don't like that pessimism.
Oh, wow. Outstanding. Badgers now.
Wait, hold on.
I missed one. My bad. That's on me.
Okay.
Look at me, Mr. Planner.
Yeah. There's more Brewers. So MLB Network, which is like ESPN, but just for baseball, is going through right now, and they're talking about every week the top 10 in each position.
Because that's what you do.
Right. Because the season's not here, and you have to talk baseball every day.
Correct.
And but this was their top 10 from someone called The Shredder. I don't watch MLB Network enough to know who the heck this guy is. But here's what he had to say about number 10 on that list.
Let's jump into the top 10. And at number 10, according to The Shredder, it is Bryce Terang of the Milwaukee Brewers. Terang makes his top 10 debut after another solid all-around year for the Brewers. He's been a standout defender with some gaudy defensive metrics at times. Stepped up offensively as well, though. Nice slash line of 288, batting average 359 on base, 435 slugging, 18 homers, 24 steals, only going into his age 26 season. Terang played 156 games last year, finishing with a WAR over 5. That's a career high. In fact, over the last 2 years, only Ketel Marte has a higher WAR among those now at the position.
So that was his opinion. That got a lot of people on Brewers Twitter fired up of going, how is Bryce Terang the 10th best second baseman in the majors? Now, the thing about social media is sometimes you have to go and you got to dig deeper to find out that was the Shredder's opinion. Another guy on MLB Network, Cliff Floyd, had him at second.
Marte's number one, right? We're not arguing on that. But Terang, you've got way up there. You like that defense with Bryce Terang.
I like his defense, and I love the adjustments he made at the plate. When you hit 18 homers, going from single digits to 18, you're making these constant on-the-fly adjustments that's helping your game get to the next level.
Jazz Chisholm, I'm with you on Chisholm, right about there.
He keeps going. So, I want to first use that to calm down anyone else that saw that first initial story on Bryce Terang and is shaking their fist at MLB Network saying, how dare you? There are other people there that don't think he is, but it did bring up the question of where do we think Bryce Terang's at? Where would we rank him? Are we kind of homers towards Bryce Terang?
I mean,
no,
you can't help but look at where we needed him to step up in the playoffs and where he completely disappeared.
See, it's very interesting because I've heard Tim Allen since he's been back talk about how he would love it if Bryce Terang is in a Brewers jersey the rest of his career. He is all in on Bryce Terang.
Cool. It's what have you done for me lately? And not to say that he didn't have a great year. No, don't get me wrong. He was raking for some longer period of time. But when it got to the playoffs, I know that a lot of Brewers bats didn't show up later in the season, especially in the Dodgers series. But I don't know, man. I watch him and go, yeah, great. I didn't have him anywhere near the top 5 in the Major League Baseball of second basemen. So I don't have the homer take on Bryce Terang. I'm happy he's here, but I don't. Last I checked, Joey Ortiz proved to us that we need more than a glove.
Yeah, but Terang is also not Joey Ortiz at the plate, and he's a platinum glove winner. I mean, he's like the best defensively.
I know. Joey Ortiz is incredible at shortstop as well, but I want the bat and the glove to show up at the same time. Is that too much to ask?
Apparently, yes. It's been a problem for the Brewers every year,
Well,
beyond just Bryce Terang.
now you know where I stand. All right, Packers, Brewers, on to the Badgers.
Badgers.
So they're trying to recover from this USC loss the other day with a schedule that's heavy in the next few weeks here. Wednesday versus Minnesota, 8 o'clock Central on the Big Ten Network. Then Saturday at home against Ohio State, 1 o'clock. At Indiana the following Saturday, and then at Illinois on that Tuesday. All of this is relevant because I feel like we got to chase down our guy, Brad Davison. I just wanted to give him a second to recover from whatever that was against USC. Jason in the 920 overnight sent me a TikTok of some audio that Brad had on the Big Ten Network saying that his favorite thing so far is being able to come back to the Kohl Center with his wife and his daughter and just sit and remember what it meant to be a Badger. There are a lot of former Badgers now on the coaching staff. Brad Davison, Greg Steemsma, I think, is there. Joe Krabenhoft. I wonder how that works in today's college venue where there's a lot of pride that comes along with being a Badger, but also a check.
Sure.
And I look to the football schedule and the team there too, and I go, man, does pride matter anymore? That might be a question for Brad Davison, but nonetheless, a lot of basketball between now and the next few weeks for the Badgers.
A lot of Big Ten action too.
14-6 overall, 6-3 in the Big Ten. Did hockey take a poo this past weekend too? I felt like we saw
the men's did, yeah.
Yeah. Women's still killing it.
Yeah, women's still killing it. That was great, but it doesn't mean the men's season's done. But they got some work to do now. That's all.
On to the Bucks.
Bucks.
So Doc came out and said yesterday that there's really no timetable for Giannis's return, even though Giannis floated out this 4 to 6 week idea and then took a breath and said he did a great job of self-diagnosing, which we're going to hear in the I Have Question portions of the show, because yesterday Kendrick Perkins also came out and said that he has Giannis Bucks fatigue. I'm wondering where you're at. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line. Where are we at with Giannis/Bucks fatigue? I know Josh may or may not be where I'm at. However, I feel like I blame Brett Favre for where I'm at because he started
Tractor
this
watch.
whole.
Yep.
Yeah, that could be too.
I mean, that's what it was with Brett Favre.
Yeah.
The news stations literally made a cartoon graphic of Brett Favre and said tractor watch because the media would literally be outside of his house and see him mowing his lawn, waiting for him to make a decision.
And I also wonder, though, if that's a little bit of the media's fault, because it seems that when these stars, I mean, look at what ESPN and Shams and all this stuff has been doing with Giannis for weeks now, and nothing's happening.
Years now.
It could be. Anything else?
Anything else?
Creighton at Marquette tonight at the Fiserv, 8:30. Creighton is 12-8. Marquette is not. They are 7-14. 8:30 Fiserv. TNT True TV is where you can catch that game for Marquette. Josh, does Marquette make the tournament this year?
No. I don't know how, unless they pull off a miracle in the Big East tournament. I don't see it. They play in a conference to where you have to be competitive. It's not, no one is looking at the Big East this year and going, well, 8 teams are going to get in, 10 teams are going to get in from the Big East. Like Marquette needed to put up numbers. They had to say, yeah, we're good enough to be here. And they're not. It's more than just their record. It's not like they're losing games by 2 points and against really tough opponents. They're just having an off year. And I don't know what happens next for Marquette and Shaka Smart either.
Yeah, we'll see if they have to. I don't think one down year makes them make a move, do they?
I'm wondering if the school says, hey, you got to change this philosophy. And
well, then give me a bag of money.
Forces him to get. Has Marquette ever been a school that's like complained about money? I'm legitimately asking. I don't know.
Well, I've never heard the basketball team talk about money. But and to your point, right?
Right. But isn't that because of Shaka's philosophy? Is it? I thought it was that, not the school saying, oh, we don't have money.
Or is Shaka's philosophy the way it is because Marquette's not willing to pay players? I don't know.
I don't know either. Either way, they're in a tough spot too.
I don't know what's going to happen with this Giannis and Bucks thing. Giannis. I think we should start that. Giannis and Bucks is now shortened to Giannis.
I hate that too.
Well, I can't say it apparently, so I'm just going to go with Giannis. Do you have fatigue? Do I have fatigue? Do we all have fatigue with this whole Giannis Bucks scenario thing playing out? And who do we blame for said fatigue? And are there other Wisconsin sports stars over the years that have given you this level of fatigue? And if you have, who are they?
Yeah, we definitely have some.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We're inside Wisconsin sports with Trevor and Josh. I pronounced that pretty well.
There you go.
He did a very good job. So MRI has revealed exactly what we thought. There's no timetable, calf strain, and really no timetable for return. Hopefully, like it was before, or sooner, but there's no timetable.
That was from a month and a half ago, right?
No, it wasn't. No, it's from yesterday.
Oh,
which was Monday, by the way.
Yep. Today's Tuesday. That's what's up, Wisconsin. Welcome back inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, talking about what makes us so fatigued in regard to this Giannis Bucks thing, and is it a carryover from other Wisconsin sports players that have too caused us said fatigue? That question and more in a segment we call I Have Questions.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it? Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The Nicolay Law fan talk and text line 414-677-1250. It came out yesterday on the old Twitter from Kendrick Perkins and ESPN talking about just how fatigued he is over this whole Bucks and Giannis thing.
I got this fatigue, and I knew it wasn't my diabetes because I took my shot yesterday. It's this Giannis and Bucks. It's this Giannis and Bucks fatigue that I have right now. Can somebody be an adult in this situation? Like, at this point, Giannis is wearing out his welcome, and that on the other hand, the Bucks are just holding on for what? When you could trade this guy and get back with everything and more, including looking at possibly looking up like the Dallas Mavericks. Maybe you end up getting a lottery pick this season, especially with what I'm seeing in the college level, one of the greatest freshman classes ever. I just don't understand. And at some point, somebody's going to have to make a stance. I think I put more ownership on Giannis to go to the front office and tell them what he wants than them because they're just going to continue to hold on. But at this point, I got Giannis and Bucks fatigue. I'm tired of talking about it.
Yeah, me and you both, Kendrick.
Yeah. You know what? I wish that Kendrick would stop talking about it too. I would like it if ESPN would have stopped talking about it 4 years ago. I wish that he would have shut up about it then. He talks about who's to blame. Yeah, I don't know. Talk to your producers. Talk to whoever's in charge. You're sick of you guys talking about it. So are we.
Well, but don't you think Giannis isn't doing anything to put water on the fire that is this whole story? When he has the ability to go, dudettes, this is no news.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm saying for way too long, we've dealt with every national media talking head that talks NBA basketball. If they bring up Giannis or the Bucks in any way, shape, or form, it is, when does Giannis say he's done? When does Giannis move out of Milwaukee? That's been it. And now I'm supposed to be like, preach, Kendrick Perkins, because now that it's tying into the actual real narrative. Get out of here. Oh.
All right, let's see where Wisconsin stands. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line. Statewide on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Good morning to all of you in Duluth Superior, listening on 710 The Game. 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan in Milwaukee, where Josh is.
Hi.
99.7. Every time we talk about Bucks, hi. 99.7, WNFL, Green Bay in the Fox Valley, and in Wausau, where we have Matt on the phone. 93.9 The Game in Wausau. Matt, good morning. How's your Bucks Giannis fatigue?
Well, good morning, gentlemen. I think my concern with this whole situation, with Favre, it was really about, are you retiring or are you not retiring? The fatigue I have with Giannis is, are you going to be healthy? You're the face of this team. I cannot remember the last time he really came and had a good, long season without some sort of lengthy injury. I don't think the Bucks obviously can afford to lose him and can't afford to trade him. And I don't know that Giannis's trade stock is going to be as high as it could be if he was consistently healthy. I think he's going to be the face of the team, but my concerns are that the team really struggles without him, and it seems like every season he has some sort of lengthy injury that we've just got to deal with, and pray that that the record is good enough when he comes back healthy, where we can try to get a low seed playoff bid.
Yeah,
Man,
well said.
Matt
Thank
nailed
you.
it.
Yeah, absolutely, you did.
Thanks for the call, Matt. We
Thanks,
appreciate that very much. By the way, anybody that texts in, which we love, you can also call.
Yeah,
that was a great take by Matt. He's
just
so
have
that,
good takes, and then we'll put you on. You know,
we don't care if you have good takes or not.
Well,
we'll tell you. We're gonna tell you if
that's
you're
true.
not. Do you think the injury stuff plays into this? I don't know that I gave that much thought.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think there are a lot of people looking at this most recent calf strain and either going, "Is this BS?" or if it's not BS and it's legitimate, and I'm one of these other teams, I'm not offering all that in a bag of chips for Giannis. I'm not selling the farm to get Giannis because I see that he could be injured on our bench. And also, again, we talked about it, that not every team in the NBA has what the Bucks are going to want for Giannis, right? And so then you're taking half the teams out. And then you're looking at the teams that have those movable pieces, and you're going, are they willing to give all of that away for a guy that's been has been injured with a calf strain twice in one season? You know, beyond, it's definitely a valid point. I do think it was very interesting too that Matt said the Bucks are in a tough spot. They can't really live without Giannis or with him. And that's true. That's kind of where it seems like they're at right now. They don't have Giannis there, they lose. If they get rid of him, it's then what? It's
well,
not,
that's just it,
it's
though.
not great.
You almost have to look at what's the lesser of all of the evils, because none of this feels like angels. It all feels like evils. Back to the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line, 414-677-1250. Shannon on a shingle says, I don't think this is unique to Wisconsin. I think it's largely a byproduct of social media and everybody being connected to everything all the time with very little else to do.
Yeah, that's okay. I got this one from Dave in Brookfield, who said, Kendrick says someone needs to be the adult. The media needs to be the adult. Stop making stuff up. No matter how many times Giannis says what he says. He said days ago, he said, I never said that. They're lying. I want to stay here. They still put out stories saying he's leaving. I agree, but that's what the national media does. That's
so to that point, and Shannon on a shingles point, is it just the fact that this stuff is at our literal palm now? I go back to when Favre was on Tractor Watch, like you brought up, Josh.
Yeah.
It was the TV, and you had to watch ESPN or whatever the case was back then to say, oh my gosh, I will never forget. I was at the radio station when he was announcing that he was going to retire, when the news finally broke. That's the first time, by the way, when he had the tearful thing in the Legends area of Lambeau Field.
Yep.
That was major news. But I felt like it was at the end of every season there prior. Now add Aaron Rodgers into that mix. And it's like tripled down with Giannis. To which someone said here, Scott from the 262, that's the one thing you don't have to worry about with the Brewers. You just know the star players are going to be gone.
That doesn't make me feel better. But also, it's not wrong.
No fatigue.
Well, and that's kind of the big takeaway that I think about here, because you asked if there was any other athlete in Wisconsin sports that kind of gave us that fatigue. And for me, it ties back to that Dark Knight quote. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. It's very difficult to have a player be at the top of their game for a long time with one team. And in Wisconsin sports, if we find those guys, whether it be a Christian Yelich or an Aaron Rodgers or a Brett Favre or a Giannis Antetokounmpo, we hold on to them. We go, no, this is our guy. We fall in love and we love them. And then naturally in the world of sports, things can't stay perfect forever. And so then usually someone turns on the other. It's either, the fan base turns on the player because they're not doing what they did 8 years ago, or it's the player gets fed up of not being in that competitive window. I mean, you could say the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. The fan base was in love with Aaron Rodgers, and then they find out, oh, he's got his hair, and then he's got his political beliefs and his ayahuasca and all this. I mean, and then we had a lot of Rodgers fatigue, didn't we? So when I look at Wisconsin sports history of fan bases having fatigue, I don't feel like it's usually fatigue about less popular, less achieved players, because we didn't care as much. We weren't as deeply embracing that person.
In comparison, back to your villain statement for a second, don't you think that the other two dudes didn't necessarily want to be the villain? But Giannis came out this season and literally said, I kind of like being the villain this year.
Yeah, he did. And that was interesting. But also, I feel like if he was going to be the true villain, he would have just asked for the trade. And he didn't. I still feel like he's refusing to do so because
I don't agree with that.
He holds this idea of, I said I'll never request a trade, so I'm not gonna. I'll have my agent try to do it. I'll try to force the team to do it, but I'm not going to do it.
All of that's controllable by him, though.
100%.
So but he's choosing to be the villain in this. I want to make sure that I say that loud and clear. Giannis is choosing for us to feel this way. He is 100% heels dug in. I'm going to play the villain card and just ride this thing out. The reason is twofold. One, he said so. And two, he hasn't done anything to squash the Flames. And that makes the Flames even more. And that's, I think, been the hardest part to process here. We'll get to a bunch more of your texts, your thoughts. Is Giannis stuck in villain land? And are we just, frankly, fed up with it? Do we have the fatigue that Kendrick Perkins talked about on ESPN? So many of you have takes. We'll get to all of those next, plus the most electrifying sound of the day.
Very
for
excited.
The second day in a row. The segment, exciting. The partnership, amazingly exciting. Sometimes the audio, not so exciting. We're not sure how to take it. Back to your text in a moment. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It's time for
The most electrifying
Sound of the Day
The most electrifying
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
I would just say all the positives that I've heard about the Brewers, from coaches to players, to just all the things that they do right with pitchers and also position players. I've heard that the fan base is great. I've heard nothing but great things.
Yeah, same thing. Just nothing but great things. Great at just developing young talent like me and Brandon, and just kind of honestly really excited for kind of a new opportunity just to see where things will go. And I think having Pat players coach like Brandon said earlier in the Zoom, just excited to play for him, and just really excited.
Really excited. Really excited. Sprout and Jet, the newest Brewers, on why they're excited to be in Milwaukee. That's our most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com.
Boys, drink some coffee.
I'm really excited. It literally, okay, I don't know about you, but you remember have you ever seen like a high school kid have to like stand in front of the class and like give a report?
Speech class.
That's exactly what that sounded. Hi, my name's Thomas. My topic was on natural energy. I did like that. That's what I felt like. It was like, how excited are you guys to be Brewers? I was so excited, just really excited.
Are they nervous? Do you think they're nervous?
I think they're absolutely nervous. I don't take that in any way, shape, or form as a negative or anything. I literally heard that and I went, these guys are babies. Oh my gosh. They're such tiny little babies.
Little fellers.
Yeah.
Just not so electrifying.
Freddie Peralta. Tiny little babies. That was the trade.
Jet Williams, if you're listening, you heard it here first. Josh is calling you small.
And I'm saying young.
That's not what I heard.
I'm saying young. You're young.
Tiny little. The 920, back to the conversation. Giannis fatigue, Bucks news fatigue, injury fatigue. And is it Aaron Rodgers' fault or Brett Favre's fault or Gary Sheffield's fault? Somebody texted in the 920. Remember when Gary Sheffield was Brewers in the 90s?
Yeah.
Kind of fatigue. Yeah, I kind of remember that too. Did he end up with the Yankees?
I think
Memory
so, yeah.
serves me right.
Yeah.
The 920, a different 920 says, I've been a Bucks fan since 1971. Please trade Giannis. It's time for a new chapter. That's where these superstars get, though, Josh, is that we forget the things that they're capable of doing, and we just want it to go away. As fans, we would rather focus on the sport instead of the silliness that comes along with it.
Well, and that's why this is a very interesting topic, because as someone in the 262 said, he just said 2 weeks ago he won't ask for a trade, but yeah, everyone acts like he never said that. He just did an interview where he said he wouldn't, and he wants to finish his career here. What more is he supposed to say? Okay, this is part of it. And then there are people saying Giannis could squash all of this. And then when he says something, here's what it really boils down to, right? Is that even if Giannis comes out and he says something like he has, like we heard him say there, okay, first of all, he would need to stick to that message every single time, which he hasn't. He said that, and then he was asked about it further, and he said, it's day to day. I take it day to day. The way I feel today might not be how I feel tomorrow. Okay, well, that puts question marks back in our head. And the other and biggest problem is they're not winning. Winning fixes everything. And so Giannis isn't happy because they're not winning. We're not happy because they're not winning. If Giannis was out and the Bucks were in third or fourth in the East, we're not having this conversation. It's because the Bucks are doing terrible and Giannis isn't happy about it. No one's happy about it. And so
That's
we're
because-
starting to give into the media narrative.
I don't believe that either. It's because we've been trying to build around Giannis for years since the championship, and it's not working. So if we're talking about winning,
Because they're losing. That's my point.
Then trade Giannis and stop trying to build around him. That's my point. Enough's enough. If we're going to deal with this BS every single year on whether he wants to be a Buck, is going to be a Buck, if he's going to do this or that, then stop building around the guy. Because it's not working.
It absolutely has everything to do with winning. We were ready to move on from Aaron Rodgers.
But they're
and
not
then Aaron
winning.
Rodgers went and balled out. And when you're winning and your quarterback is having MVP seasons, you can't go, well, we got to stop building around. No, you're going, how do we move on from this guy? If Giannis is being injured for 12 weeks in the season with a calf strain and the Bucks can't do a damn thing without him, then we're going to get frustrated and we're going to focus on the losing.
Then trade him. That's what we did with Rodgers. We went 13-3 2 years in a row. NFC Championship 2 years in a row. Built around Rodgers. Then Rodgers. That's
Rodgers.
Giannis and Rodgers together.
Combined.
The hell was in my coffee? Then it didn't go well. And we said, time over. Thanks for the good run, bud. Have a great one.
Right.
We made a move, and that's what needs to happen with this. We just got to move on. Stop. We're hanging on to somebody, and it's not working. He's constantly injured. The players that we've built around him it's not working. So at some point, somebody at the Bucks organization, hell, Haslam probably would have traded him already. The second that guy came in as part of the ownership group, it was, all right, how are we going to move on from this Giannis guy and just make this thing work?
Yeah. How can I make the Milwaukee Bucks the Cleveland Browns of the NBA? Let me work on it.
Is plausible. There's one quick one as we get to the top of the hour here that I kind of had in my mind. As if we're talking about this starting with Favre or Rodgers or anything else, I still blame the media, this person says in the 262. People think about retiring from being an accountant for 10 years, much less being in public or being one game away from a Super Bowl. Are we going to ask an employee if they're going to retire at their family member's funeral? Stop asking players their plans after devastating losses or injuries.
Right. But that's what the media is. Like that's
but there's also another side to that. Have you ever been at a place of work where an A player is wishy-washy? You know what? I don't like this job anyway. You know what? I'm going to start looking for a new job. And then something goes well. God, I love it here. That happens in real life. We just don't have a microphone in their face. And you know what happens in the workplace, in the real world? They either get let go or they get sat down and say, figure it out. Fatigue with A players is a real thing, whether it's in the public or private sector. And I think that's what we're dealing with here. We have an A player who had a great run, did a lot of great things, and now it's not going his way. And instead of going, I fully expect to be here and reiterating that over and over and over, we get the wishy-washy A player that just isn't sure. And when he's asked direct questions outside of one interview, it's a very wishy-washy answer.
Yep, and regardless of what he says, they're going to ask him about it again every time the Bucks lose, because that's been the national media narrative for his entire career in Milwaukee.
We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
You remember Elliot Wolf from your Green Bay days? And what is
Who?
Elliot Wolf. Yeah.
I used to babysit him. Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. No, he was always around us. He was always in the draft room with us. He was always sitting in our offices, always taking in as much information as he possibly could. Always had very, very strong opinions. If you ask him, I think he thought he was all conference. I'm not sure he ever played it down for the high school. It's a little dig there, Elliot.
That is the hammer at the Seahawks. John Schneider on growing up essentially with Elliot Wolf here in Green Bay. And that's the topic of conversation at the top of the 7 o'clock hour, where we get things off our chest and out of our heads. And this morning we're juggling who do we cheer for in regard to the Super Bowl. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, live on YouTube and Twitter, where you can follow along with us at Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh, at WI Sports Radio. All right, let's get some stuff off our chest.
I have voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee has kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as bad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We've got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
It's time for the morning mind dump on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. What do you got to get off your chest and out of your head as you start this Tuesday in your world? For us, it's a tweener week, meaning there's literally no football this week whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
The Super Bowl 2 weeks from Sunday, and yet it has Wisconsin sports fans kind of scratching their head, at least me. And it's not because I'm bald and haven't shaved in a day. It's more because I'm not sure who to cheer for. I feel like I like to cheer for someone. Most of the time, I cheer for my bets. I cheer for heads most years.
Sure.
I cheer for the over on the national anthem. I cheer for a return of the opening kickoff for a touchdown. All these things can be found at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. That's my jam for the Super Bowl. Me and a buddy each grab $200 and we go and just do the dumb and all so
Prop
many
bets.
of these. Yeah, love it. Well, but like in-game bets and this guy to score a touchdown bets or that person to have over this many yard bets. And we parlay some things together if we're allowed. But at the end of the day, that's what the Super Bowl is about for me when the Packers aren't involved. Yet somehow Wisconsin is heavily involved in this year's Super Bowl, and I'm just kind of wondering where we land on this. It is no news to anybody that John Schneider is the hammer for the Seahawks. He's the GM. He's the director of football operations. He's the guy. Elliot Wolf on the Patriots side. Both of these guys clearly come from the Ron Wolf tree. Elliot is the executive vice president of player personnel. Whatever the hell that means. He's the de facto GM, kind of like the assistant to the head coach, the assistant to the head coach, and the Brad couldn't even answer that.
Yeah.
So where do we land as Packers fans? Are we all still kind of upset about the 14 NFC Championship game?
What was it? Like you don't remember? Yeah.
Are we upset at the Seahawks for that? Do we wish bad things on them? I struggle with wishing bad things on John Schneider. He's from De Pere. He grew up in the Packers system, started as a scout in the 1990s. No different than Elliott Wolf. Went to Notre Dame here in Green Bay. Joined the Packers in 2004. Worked his way up over 14 seasons. There's a lot of Packers skin in this game. A lot of Wisconsin pride. So if we had to choose a team, where do you stand on this, Josh?
Yeah, this is a great morning mind dump because it is so frustrating. And I feel like this happens most years when not just in the NFL, but in the MLB and NBA, when the bracket is set, the playoff bracket is set, and I go, all right, here's who I want to win, and here's what would be worst case scenario. Obviously, the Bears getting eliminated helped. Didn't want them to be there. However, when it came down to the Final Four, I wanted the two teams that lost. I wanted Broncos and Rams. And the reason why is because I could find specific players that I could cheer for. You had Quinn Miners on the Broncos out of Whitewater, Wisconsin guy, born in Hartford. Would have loved to have seen him as a D3 athlete go on to win a Super Bowl. That would have been cool. And on the other side with the Rams, you had Devontae, who never made it to the promised land as a Green Bay Packer. But obviously, we still have love for Devontae. So I would have loved to have seen that happen. Neither happened. And now I'm stuck with the Patriots and the Seahawks, which, yeah, I absolutely still have a bad taste in my mouth about 2014 and the Fail Mary. And there's been enough. Yes, we did get we want the ball and we're going to score, right? We have that as a positive one in that rivalry. But recently, it has been all Seahawks, which has been disappointing. And on the other side, you have the Patriots, who haven't necessarily done anything to the Packers, but you're like, you got to be kidding me. The Patriots are back, as a just fan of the Packers. When you have to take that step back and look at the NFL landscape, you let out a big sigh, going, I feel like they were just there, even though they weren't. You don't want a new dynasty starting with the Patriots, and so I'm right there with you. Of going, I don't know who the hell to cheer for in this game. And we brought this up for a quick minute yesterday, and someone on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line said, I hope they both lose. I promise you that won't happen.
Not going to happen.
But I understand your thought process. It's very tough. I don't know.
So after all that.
Yep, that's what this is. I dumped my mind of here's the reasons of why it's a struggle that got me to here. Because these were not the two teams I wanted. And if it would have been one of the other teams, I would have had a very clear and concise answer.
Somebody on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. What say you? Who are you cheering for, if that's a thing, for this year's Super Bowl? Seahawks or Patriots? Somebody earlier said, well, don't we cheer for the Seahawks to keep the trophy in the NFC?
I don't feel like that's a thing. Is that a thing?
Oh, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Where we hate
that's
the
where
AFC?
my mind goes first. Yeah, I don't like the AFC at all.
Oh.
You don't have that?
No, and I feel like the majority of I'm worried more about my rivals, which are not AFC teams. They're NFC teams. And so usually my brain would go the opposite way and go, well, if the Packers can't win it, have it be an AFC team. I don't want another NFC team that I'll probably have to play next year to have it.
The 414 says, I almost don't care to watch the Super Bowl this year. Another person in the 414, can you say deep here again, Trevor? Oh, the Pee Wee Herman secret word when they scream when Pee Wee Herman says a word. I'm not sure why deep here has people riled up.
I think there's a part of the state that says de pier.
I think the rest of the state says de pier. And I said de pier for as long as I lived here. And then one of my best friends grew up in De Pere and says De Pere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, so I'll switch it. De Pere. And then just the other day at dinner on Friday night, a coworker of mine here at WNFL said, you taught us that we've been saying it wrong the entire time we've been here in Northeast Wisconsin. They're like, we've been saying De Pere. And I'm like, well, here's the story on how it landed deep here. And I have no idea which one's right. But somebody's going to tell me. I guarantee that.
Deep here. Hey, up there in the deep here.
Yeah, deep here. Well, that's probably why it sounds that way here. Because there is a bit of a northern-esque tone to our voice. All right, back to the morning wind-up. 677-1250.
A lot of people leaning Seattle.
Yeah, that's got to be the way, yeah.
And I'm liking some of their reasons. Multiple people, 414-920-262s, saying it's hate watching the Vikings and seeing Sam Darnold go and do that after the Vikings gave up on Sam Darnold.
I had that thought too.
And immediately, they kicked him to the curb after he got him there, had one bad game in their playoff game, and they said, nope, this was a mistake. We're going to go with our young gun. We're going to go with McCarthy. Bye. Thanks for your time.
The 920. Boy, this is jumbled this morning on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking Test Line. Here we go. Cheering for Seattle since Packers last won a Super Bowl against the Patriots. Been to 6 Super Bowls, winning 3, and now back again after a total rebuild. I can get behind that. On the 920, I knew Elliott Wolf since he was in elementary school. I was disappointed when he was passed over by the Packers, so I'm a Patriots fan when they're not playing the Packers. That's Ron Rome.
Okay.
Your feedback is amazing.
I don't know him personally. That means nothing to me.
It means something to him, though. That's all that matters.
Yeah, so good for Ron Rome that knew him personally. If I knew Elliott Wolf personally, I would probably have a more clear and concise answer. I don't, and so my response to Ron Rome is, okay, yep, you know him. Good for you.
The 262, I have forgiven the Seahawks. I will continue to hate Russell Wilson. I am in Seattle now. Watch the game here and have many mutual friends with residences and businesses in both Wisconsin and Washington. Their fans have always been great, even when playing the Packers out here last season. What time is it in Seattle? A couple hours behind, right?
Yeah, they're
13.
Two hours behind. Jacob Navan said, number 1, stick with the NFC, so he's with you. And 2, it's the Patriots. It's only been 7 years since their last Super Bowl. They haven't suffered long enough. I don't think you can say they're suffering. They still made it to a Super Bowl. The suffering is over in New England. Them losing the Super Bowl, I don't know that you would call that suffering. I do love this from the 480 as well. It says, Darnold leaves the Queens and wins it with Seattle. Good enough for me. Plus, I still have Patriots fatigue. We've been talking about fatigue all morning and in regards to the Bucs and Giannis. Yeah, I think that a lot of people, a lot of fans of just the NFL have Patriots fatigue of them being as good as they have been for as long as they have been.
So my phone's blowing up about this whole DePier thing. People that grew up here say DePier. JB in the 920, who is here in the Green Bay area, met him when we were at Margaritas, said the DePier thing drives me nuts. And then someone in the 920 says, literally spelled it the same way. So what
DePier,
what do you say?
Not DePier.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah.
Literally, the way the city is spelled, not that way.
See, I think it's DePier because to some people's point, if it was DePier, there'd be an extra E. D is D-E-E, right?
I think it's French. I think it's DePier. You want me to say that?
Oh, yes.
DePier.
I absolutely. Going forward,
I don't even know if that's how you say it.
I don't care. I will be upset if you do not say DePier.
There's got to be cities in the Milwaukee area that this has stuff to do with. Oak Creek or Oak Creek?
It's Oak Creek. Oh, okay. And anyone that says New Berlin is crazy. It's New Berlin.
See, this isn't just here.
But DePier. I need that going forward. That has to stick.
The 920, if you're putting money on it, try New England in the points. The whole world seems to be choosing Seattle, and they can win by 3 or 4, and you'll still get paid. Yeah, the line right now at the Potawatomi Sportsbook is Seahawks -4.5. So that's another good conversation. With that, who do you take? This person's taking the Patriots, knowing that the Seahawks may very well win, but it may or may not be a blowout. What are you celebrating over there?
715 here says, screw the Patriots, period. Boston has enjoyed too many championships across all leagues in recent years. I love it. Not even just the Patriots, all of Boston. Screw Boston. All of your teams. I love that.
The 262 there is in the media. They're just going to do the next big name we get after Giannis. Back to the whole Giannis fatigue thing in the morning mind dump section of Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. The national media will never accept a big name, even mediocre name in Milwaukee. They'll pick someone to say that's leaving. At some point, that player will get sick of defending themselves and either play into it or just ignore them.
And you know what? That only happens if that player's a successful, amazing athlete, which the Bucks do not have for a long time. Like it's don't expect them to just be able to trade Giannis for the next big thing. That there's a lot of luck involved. There was a lot of luck involved with the Bucks getting Giannis too.
The 414, the Seahawks not running with Marshawn Lynch at the goal line is revenge enough for me. I'd rather see the Seahawks win just so New England doesn't get another Super Bowl trophy. That'd be number 7. And this pretty much says, I just want everybody to have fun.
Yeah.
I just want to see a good game.
I want a good game. I did see something that said, man, Pete Carroll just got fired of being the coach with the Raiders, having like the worst record in the NFL. And now he has to watch highlights of him making the worst call in his Super Bowl, deciding not to hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch because these two teams are facing each other again.
I feel like something happened this season where there was a pass. Maybe it was a Packers game where there was a pass right at the goal line. And I said out loud somewhere, Marshawn Lynch is pulling his hair out.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Didn't run the ball.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line. You got the giggles over there today, Josh.
Yeah,
What'd you read
Jason
this
in
time?
the 920. Do you know where D Pier is? Right next to D Boat. I love it.
That guy's a piece of work.
Dip here.
The 920, I hope Darnold wins and personally thanks Minnesota's GM in his post-game trophy speech. That will make my day.
Oh, if that happened, can you imagine? That would be the biggest win. That would be the best win. I'm fully in now on Seattle.
There you go.
That did it.
Welcome.
Yep, that did it for me. Just hate watching the Vikings. Perfect.
Keep your morning mind dumps coming in on the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line, 414-677-1250. When we get back, it is a Take Back Tuesday. You've heard of Hot Take Tuesday? It's the opposite here. What hot takes came out of your mouth or off of your thumbs that you need to take back?
Mm-hmm.
Josh has some. I have some. Mine revolves around maybe taking back my disdain for Matt LaFleur.
It's like going to confession at church. There's one day you get to go and confess your sins. This is the day. Tuesdays, we allow you to come in and go, forgive me, sports fans, for I have sinned. I went and I said XYZ, and I need to take that back. Get those in. Nicolay Law fan talk and text on 414-677-1250. Clear your conscience. Take those takes back today on a Take Back Tuesday.
Did you see Annie Agar's tweet this past weekend?
About being in church? Yeah.
So she saw the news that Jonathan Gannon got hired as defensive coordinator. Literally took a picture in church and said, I just got done with mass and saw the news of our new defensive coordinator, and now I need to go right into confession.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you and us both, only I'm Lutheran. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line. We don't do that whole confessional thing to somebody else, just straight up. Straight up.
Go right there.
Right to the big man. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. A Take Back Tuesday. That's next. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
sont comme le bon vin. Ils donnent de la joie ou bien
Is this French?
But of course.
Something from Ratatouille?
It is from Ratatouille. Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. That's a great movie.
It is a good movie.
What's up, Wisconsin? I don't know what the hell we're talking about today. Not a lot of sports.
I can tell you what we're talking about.
How to pronounce the city I live in. That's what we're trying to talk about.
We're talking about
Okay, yeah, hard to hear over Ratatouille over there.
Okay,
Inside
sorry.
Wisconsin Sports, Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I have no idea why this became a thing, but it is officially a thing. So, yeah, dip. Say it again.
Oh,
that's the French pronunciation, correct?
yeah, that's what I want. When anyone asks where you're from now, you're not from deep here. Absolutely not. No, you're from
Dupe.
Woo!
All right, good find.
I love
Somebody in
that.
the break said, why don't you guys just Google Translate it and get it over with?
We did.
We did. We know how to say it in French, and the English way, according to the Google, is deep here.
Correct.
Sorry, JB in the 920. Not everybody can be from Kaukauna. Sometimes it's just deep here. All right, it's a Take Back Tuesday. Deep here. Every time you have to get that on a hot button now.
Ooh.
Does that differ? Does it changing?
No.
Okay. It is.
Oh.
Talk dialects.
Talk
Josh.
dirty to me. I've
my
never
God.
wanted to move so bad in my life.
Careful. The taxes absolutely suck. Awful. Oh.
But how are the baguettes? Oh my God.
Of all of the things that make you completely geek out, it is a French pronunciation of deep here. Okay. All right. We got it.
All right.
All right. Take Back Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Hot Take Tuesday for some, not here. What are those hot takes that you need to take back? What about Matt LaFleur? What about the coaching scenario? What about Jonathan Gannon? Do you have a take back from him already? I doubt it. I think I might have a Take Back Tuesday in regard to my disdain for the way Matt LaFleur coaches, or him as a head coach in general. When people are coming up to me in public, Josh, and introducing themselves and saying hello, almost always it's followed with, oh, you don't like Matt LaFleur, huh?
Yeah.
Yesterday. Happened to me again.
You do get on him a little bit.
Well, okay. I think I might need to take a little bit of that back because I didn't think it was as bad as it is.
Oh.
I'm wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
My bad. Okay, I'll take it back a little bit. First things first, shout out to Andrew yesterday at the gym who said hello and nice to meet you and love the show and love the podcast and all that stuff.
Where was the gym? Where's the gym located?
Green Bay.
Oh. No, I don't care then.
Almost within 30 seconds of us chatting, he's like, so, not a fan of LaFleur, huh? My doctor said the same damn thing to me. So I'm like, geez, I must have been, listen, upon further review, apparently the NFL sees something in Matt LaFleur that we as disdained Packers fans don't have. And I'm wondering what that is. I went back and watched Matt LaFleur's end of season press conference and wanted to just take it in again. Did we play that audio coming back? I don't think so because we were stuck in French land.
Yeah, correct. I have it here. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
I think we have to look at everything from how we train to how we practice. And these are conversations that I've already had with some of our people, trying to find maybe different ways to do things. But those are all the conversations that are ongoing right now. Just taking all the data that we have, comparing it to, other teams or whatever it may be. Certainly this year we had the injury bug a little bit.
So it's time for change is what I heard him say. Okay. We expected change quickly. If there wasn't going to be change with Matt LaFleur at the head coaching position, then we expected some sort of change, whether it was Rich Bisaccia or a different scheme in terms of who's going to call plays or just special teams in general, or maybe it was the way they train. I mean, he said so many things that everything is on the table essentially, right?
Yeah.
So I'm willing to give him one more shot. I'm willing to dial back my disdain for Matt LaFleur and his coaching. I'm willing to accept the fact that things were very injured this year. I'm willing to give him one more chance at doing something with this Green Bay Packers team.
So I love that, to what you just said at the end, because I think a lot of people are there. But what's the bar? What's the bar to where you say I was wrong about Matt LaFleur? Because I feel like that's what's either unrealistic or all over the place.
I think the bar is going to the Super Bowl.
That's a really high bar.
I know, but that's the expectation at this point with this team. We can't listen. That's the expectation in Green Bay. How long was McCarthy here? 12 years, something like that. 06 to 2018. Am I right on that off the top of my head? The reason he was allowed to stay here so long is because he won a Super Bowl. That's it. How many years after the Super Bowl was he let go? Having not returned to the Super Bowl.
That's
it's
not
8
long.
years.
Yeah.
This will be Matt LaFleur's 8th season.
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur has not been to the Super Bowl. This is the cutoff point. You either go to the Super Bowl, if indeed we dodge the injury bullet and keep your job, or you don't, and I bet we move on. I understand that the bar is high, but here's what I don't understand. If we as Packers fans are a little twisted on Matt LaFleur and his play calling and why we blow leads in the second half, and it seems like we get soft and don't have our foot down on the gas pedal, all the things that come out of our mouth all season long. Yet Matt LaFleur would have been the number one candidate if indeed he was a free agent in the coaching realm. Why?
Right.
Wisconsin, I need your help.
I think it's because of expectations.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line. Well, that's the question. What do they see? Because at this point on a Take Back Tuesday, I'm willing to just go, okay, all right. Came in a little hot there. On me. Boy, do people remember that. So there's a part of me that's a little embarrassed. Like, Jesus, how much of a Matt LaFleur hater was I?
I mean, you were up there. Yeah.
I was a fired up Packers fan. I have expectations. Stop toying with my heart.
You also were not happy when this deal was done, which I, to be fair, also was not happy when the extension was done, because I was exactly in the same point. You were not as high up on the hatred scale, but I was against the extension because I wanted to approve it year. I wanted him to prove and have to have a little pressure on him to make it happen this year, make some type of bigger improvement in 2026-27. And it doesn't seem like policy. That's why I was so upset at policy. It seemed like it was good enough. What he had done was good enough. And I didn't like that. I don't know what's different, though. I don't.
So the 262 says his QB development is highly sought after. Okay, I agree. Very good in the QB room. Look what he did to help fix Malik Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Then why, as some Packers fans, why don't we believe that Jordan Love is the guy? If Matt LaFleur is the QB guru, then some of us as Packer fans aren't sure on Jordan Love. There's another question. Do any of us need to take back how much we absolutely love Jordan Love?
Yeah, a lot of people need to take back their hatred for Jordan Love. I think that a lot of the disdain for Jordan Love is based on Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre syndrome, and just expecting that we need to have our next quarterback be a future Hall of Famer And Jordan Love might just be a great quarterback. He might not be a future Hall of Famer. He might just be a great quarterback. And that's upsetting to fans that have lived 30 years with 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. But that's unfair. That's an absolutely unfair expectation from Jordan Love. And this team is not building around Jordan Love the way they did Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, because they know he's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's why they're focusing on the defense and other pieces around him. You don't need to have a Hall of Fame quarterback if you have a great quarterback.
The 414 says needs to learn how to play 4 quarters. If they're up at half, there's no adjustments. That's it for me. That's Chad in the 414.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. We talked about that right after the season. Finishing. You got to be able to finish. This Packers team couldn't finish. I actually have a take back that you just brought up. Probably people wouldn't have yet. I got to take back that immediate slander to Gannon. I got to take it back. It wasn't.
You came out kind of hot.
It wasn't fair. It was a very pessimistic view.
I don't think it was slander, by the way. That's a little bit aggressive.
He hasn't done well. I was going after like the way he talked, and in that saying, what does he think these guys went to Taco Bell? Like, I haven't seen him in the room. I haven't seen what he can do with these players yet, and it's not fair for me to judge him in that way until he does, or if he does. If he goes out there and does the opposite, and he does get these guys fired up, okay, then I'm eating crow, right? But he hasn't done anything. He hasn't even had an opening presser in Green Bay yet, and so I gotta pump the brakes.
But Josh, why though? Where do you think that immediate disdain for the hire came from? Because you obviously
all
had
past expectations. It's all based on what I had. What I had versus what I have.
Expectations that he didn't meet right away.
If I had an aggressive Hemi Dodge Charger that was in your face, boom, and that Charger is in Miami, and now I got a Prius that is a good quality car, going to get me to work, but man, I don't feel like I'm running through a wall like I used to. I'm not as excited to get in that car. That's the difference, is that I'm judging Gannon based on what I heard and felt with Hafley. And that's not fair. They're 2 completely different coaches.
Sure. The 920 says, I put more blame on Goody than coach. The offensive line was not good last season, and it caught me by surprise. The shuffling around and injuries was the Achilles heel of this team. I have a legitimate question about this, because I know I get a lot of crap for knowing the Gutekunst family personally with our kids going to school together and blah, blah, blah. When we look at the offensive line and the shuffling, who's that on? Is that on the coaching staff, or is that on Brian? Does Brian say, here's your team and here's where they're going to play?
I don't think so. I think that Goody gives him the information, or gives him the players. He signs the best talent he can find, and then he expects LaFleur and his staff to be in the trenches with them, seeing, how their technique is and what makes the most sense. I would be, in my opinion, very unrealistic to have your GM be that in the weeds with that type of stuff.
I think they're mentioning that Elton Jenkins obviously got put in center, right? When he got hurt, Sean Ryan came in and played fairly well.
Yep.
Rasheed Walker, free agent now. Jordan Morgan almost beat. We haven't talked about Rasheed Walker getting arrested, by the way.
No, we didn't. There's a misunderstanding.
Kind of, not with guns.
Well, I agree, but rules aren't the same in every state, bud.
If you live in Michigan and you forgot to take a gummy out of your pocket or something, like, I get it. I understand. Pistols in airports, different ballgame.
Yeah. Well, what are the rules in I don't know.
Well, which one? The gummies or the guns?
Yes.
I think they're not the same. So when you look at the offensive line and the shuffling, Jordan Morgan almost beat out Rasheed Walker for the starting job in camp this year. So at some level, you have to back out of this and go, the guys are there. The talent seems to be there. Who's in charge of putting them in the right spot? And if we're going to use injuries as an excuse for Matt LaFleur, then why can't we use injuries as an excuse for the general manager? Now, if we look at how Goody's done and how we look at some of the first round draft picks, I think I think if Brian Gutekunst was standing here right now, he too would be disappointed in Lucas Van Ness.
Mm-hmm.
Given.
Yeah, and the fact that the JSN is in the Super Bowl and the Packers had an opportunity to draft him, and it's always easy to go back and go, man, you blew it on this one. You know, you never think that in the moment, but that all comes with the territory of being a GM.
So who do we need to get? I can't wait to have that conversation when it comes draft time. One thing that we haven't done yet, because we're not sure where we're at from a coaching staff perspective, is start to break down the Packers team. Who do we let go? Who do we get out from underneath the salary cap positioning on? How much dead cap money is coming this year with Micah Parsons and Jordan Love? What does that look like for putting the team together? That's the other thing that I think some people forget. Let's go back, Josh, and look when this conversation comes up, how much money the Packers didn't have to spend on top-tier talent, because something like $65 million was still on our books for a guy playing quarterback for the New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just factors that go into this thing. For what it's worth, personally, I never felt like Brian Gutekunst's contract was in question.
I didn't, because of the Parsons trade. That is a historic trade. That is a Reggie White coming to Green Bay comparison trade. And when you are able to do something, which again, the same way we talk about the Brewers shipping off Freddie Peralta and getting the overall feel from fan bases, when the Packers got Parsons, more than just the Cowboys were like, well, damn, that sucks. It was everyone going, man, did the Packers fleece the Cowboys on that one? That sucks for all of us. That was a huge trade that I don't think anyone, even with the injury, anyone is mad about. That is a celebrated move. And so I think that alone put to bed any question of, is Goody the guy or not? You can say that he's made mistakes. I saw a bunch of people say, look at how these two GMs that started in Green Bay are now in the Super Bowl, and Brian Gutekunst is a GM in Green Bay, and he can't get there. Okay, but also look at what Goody has done too. There's a lot of positives to go in his folder as well.
When we come back at the top of the hour, not that we're going to take a 15 or 20-minute break here, but we want you to know, coming up at 8 o'clock, we're going to chat with Olympic gold medalist and Wisconsin's own Dan Jansen.
Yes.
We had Bonnie Blair on last week.
Yeah, he's got big shoes to fill.
Those two cannot be said in the same sentence without each other. Bonnie Blair and Dan Jansen. Bonnie Blair, Dan Jansen, right? We want to check in with Dan. How's he doing all these years later? How's his gold medal? How was it overcoming the things that he had to overcome to win the gold?
Yep.
With his sister passing away, and just, he's got a story, and 'tis the season with the Winter Olympics now less than 2 weeks away. Let's check in with Wisconsin Olympians that have shown us how to do it. Dan Jansen coming up at 8 o'clock. But first, I wonder if we can do it. I looked up the top 10 most popular sports in the Winter Olympics. Is there a chance that we can do any of these without dying?
I got one.
All right, we'll get to that next. And we want to know your feedback too. If there's any Olympic sport here in the Winter Olympics that you think you could literally walk onto the course and perform and not die, I want to know what it is. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Let's find out more about the Packers' new defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, when NFL insider Ross Tucker joins 9 to noon with former Packers fullback John Kuhn this morning at 10:25 here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht, Inside Wisconsin Sports, asking you, Nicolay Law fan talk and text line, 414-677-1250. If you could jump in to one sport in the Winter Olympics, meaning the Olympics are going on and you're going to join in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a sport in the Olympics that you could go in and play and not die?
Yeah, I mean, this is the perfect example of this, the couch quarterback, right? The armchair quarterback of you're sitting on your couch with a beer in your hand and you're watching the Winter Olympics and you're going, nah, come on, I could do that. Gack. How'd they mess that up? That's easy. I could do that. That's what we're asking. What could you do? There's only one. Curling.
Are you sure?
Yeah. That's listen.
Wait, have you ever curled before?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say that doesn't count.
But that's the only one of all of them. That's the only one that I feel like if you gave me a couple hours, I wouldn't be great, but I'd be all right. It's finesse and it's consistency. Very similar to bowling. Finesse and consistency.
Bobsledding?
Hell no.
Dead. I think I can do the biathlon on skis with a gun, but the gun's not loaded. So, I mean, I'd like to not die. I think that's cross-country skiing. I think I can do that. What about short track speed skating?
No.
Very sharp.
Period.
Freestyle skiing is like skateboarding on skis and hitting the ramps and all that stuff. Dead.
Yeah. Boards, skates, or skis, I'm out.
Alpine skiing, straight downhill. I don't care if I have to go zig and a zag. You ever seen Lindsey Vonn crash?
Yeah.
Bad.
Oh, yeah. Gravity hurts.
Snowboarding. Well, Trev, just lean back in your boots. Nope. Dead. Speed skating. We already covered that. No, whether it's short-term or long-term speed skating. We're going to talk to Jansen about that next. And here are the top 3 most popular Winter Olympic sports. Ice hockey. You check me one time, I'm going to shatter.
You're going down.
All the things are broken.
Yeah.
Ski jumping.
Hell no.
If you want to see somebody's head literally pop off of their body,
yeah,
send me down that thing and hit me a jump.
Yeah.
Not only will I not land on my feet like a cat, but I will absolutely run into whatever, if I make it. Let's be honest. I will be a flailing 6'8" mess. The last one, figure skating. I can't do that not on skates.
I think it might even be more difficult not on skates to do a triple axel.
All right. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line. A lot of people saying curling.
Yeah, I got to read through this based on what I said. So Annie in Oconomowoc said, I have curled before, Josh. I think you would be great at curling. Like you said, it's very similar to bowling. I read that text first. I went, oh, okay. Thanks, Annie. Then the next immediate text from the 262. My one-time curling, a coworker slipped and cracked his head open. Death is possible.
Told you.
Okay. That's quite a change from what Annie just said.
Curling is harder than it looks. I agree that it's probably the one sport in the Olympics that I wouldn't die doing. Here's another one. I can vouch for curling. Did that out in Pewaukee. Is it Pewaukee or Pewaukee? I digress.
Okay.
For a bachelor party when I was half in the bag. Well, dangerous. Half in the bag anytime you're doing sports in general. There's another vote for curling. Somebody checking in that used to listen to Josh and I across the street. Great to have you guys on the radio. Keep up the good work. We appreciate that. There are a lot of people that are saying curling.
Is it possible curling's the only one? Like in the Summer Olympics, right? There's like badminton and like table tennis, and there's a few. I don't know that there's more than curling in the Winter Olympics.
The 414 as we wrap it up. This is an easy answer. It's bobsledding. I saw Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
Curling would probably be a close second. But have you seen some of the dudes that do that? I'm just saying. Dads unite. Cool Runnings. Bobsledding.
No.
One
Not
of the greatest movies of all time.
yeah, also not a reason for you to think that you can be a successful bobsledder.
That's a total drop, by the way, that we should use more often on this show. Let's make that happen, Josh. Sanka, you dead? Yeah, I'm on. When we come back, Olympic gold medalist and Wisconsin's own Dan Jansen will join us next here live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. You're listening to Inside Wisconsin Sports.
It's time for today's fan weather forecast brought to you by Habish and Rotier. It's going to be partly cloudy today with a high of 13 degrees. It's currently 10 degrees in Milwaukee, but strong winds are making it feel more like -9. This has been your Habish and Rotier fan weather forecast.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
Getting ready for his 1,000-meter race, Dan Jansen. Now or never for an Olympic medal.
Both these skaters are technically very good. They should get off and probably have one of the fastest 200-meter split times.
He should be under 17 seconds to really have a shot in this race. And he is. Jansen at 16:71. Dan Jansen looks good to be in the lead. Here is Dan Jansen, and he crosses it. 1:12.43, and he's in first place.
I think that announcer missed it, by the way, Josh. That was a world record.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean, there are a lot of things that happen in that race. More than just the world record, too.
We're going to ask him. Dan Jansen joins us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
God, Dan, you look like you could still do it, buddy. Good to see you, man.
Yeah. Hey, good to see you guys. How are you doing this morning? Cold, I hear.
A little bit.
Perfect skating weather.
Yeah,
Ice is good. Ice is good here.
Yeah.
So we talked with Bonnie last week because that's just how it goes. I reach out to you both. Bonnie got back. You were available this week. We appreciate you coming on. So the Winter Olympics aren't far away, and we try really hard to remember the good old days with the good old people from Wisconsin. And clearly you're at the very top of the list along with Eric Hayden and Bonnie Blair. So what has it been like for you in life, Dan, since accomplishing what you did in the Olympics back in '94?
Oh man, I mean, life is you just live it as it comes. It's been amazing. I got to do some incredible things that I most likely never would have gotten to do. But when it comes down to it, you're a dad, you're a husband, you just get along with life just like everybody else. But it's great. I miss. I will say, I've been in North Carolina for 25 plus years. But I get back whenever I can. My family's still there, and I do miss it. I miss the people back there, and we've considered getting a summer place back there. So maybe when retired, we may do that.
You ever heard of Deep Ear? Just kidding.
No.
It's up. That's cold. That's up north.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Nice.
So Dan, can you tell us a little bit just about, obviously since '94, how you've stayed involved in the Olympic process, if you have, with other skaters and tried to kind of build that sport up? Because when we talked to Bonnie, she said like that the importance of that and keeping the youth wanting to pursue the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and Bonnie and Dave, her husband, have done a great job up there. Trying to continue things going for the younger generations, but it is important. Our sports, it's funny. It hasn't changed that much in terms of it gets a ton of attention every 4 years, just like it did back then. And now it is again. And we've got Jordan Stoltz, new names, but when in non-Olympic years, it's other things. And I get it. But it is important because nowadays, even more so than before, I think there are so many more choices of sports to get into as a kid, and whether it's soccer or who knows, lacrosse nowadays, or just a lot of different options. Back then, we didn't have that many options, and when winter came around, we skated, and it was great. And then so those are the things now, and it's a hard sport. It's not one that I guess for the faint of heart, if you will. It's very difficult training. It's full time, and there's not a ton of, let's say, financial reward at the end. If that's what you're going for, you're in the wrong sport. So you got to do it for the love of it. You got to do it for the love of, hopefully your country, if you're lucky enough to be able to represent the U.S. and just loving trying to get better all the time.
Dan Jansen, Olympic gold medalist speed skater from Wisconsin, joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. You just said it. You do it for your nation, and you got to be on top of that podium in '94, get the gold medal around your neck, and listen to the national anthem. I would imagine that you don't listen to the national anthem the same since.
Never. I mean, you're exactly right. Since that day, I mean, I always did anyway, but I put my hand over my heart, and I think back about that moment every time I hear it. It's really cool. I had been on the podium over 100 times in my career, but the sound never sounded like it did that day, nor since.
So we had asked Bonnie where she has her medals and if she could show us, and she brought out a printed, like from a home printer, piece of paper that showed her coffee table. She had like a custom coffee table that had the medals from each games in them. And she was like, this is how I display them in the house. And I carry this piece of paper around with me to answer that question. What do you do with your medal? How do you have it displayed? And how do you answer that question when people go, you got the medal on you? Because of course you just have it.
Right. Yeah. I carry it around. No, if it's literally around the corner. When you walk in my house, and it's kind of, as you look up, there's a glass case on the wall with my medal displayed with two Olympic torches on either side. And a lot of people put them away in safety deposit boxes. And I'm like, why? Let people see it if they come over, and otherwise nobody ever sees it, right?
I don't know about you, Josh, but if I had any medal from any Olympic ever, gold, silver, bronze,
doesn't matter.
You're damn right. That's the first thing you see when you walk in my house.
It wouldn't be in my house. It'd be around my neck.
True. Wherever you go.
This right here? Oh, that's my medal. That's my Olympic medal.
Dan, the perseverance you showed from 84 to 94 and finally winning the gold the way you did in Lillehammer came after a tragedy in your family with your sister Jane passing away from leukemia.
Mm-hmm.
You fell a bunch, which was hard to watch. I remember it really vividly. Can you take us back to some of those moments where you're like, man, I don't know if this is ever going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, well, first, I guess that's the misconception. I fell twice in my whole career. They happened to be at the same Olympics, so it wasn't a bunch. But no, it's okay. But people thought when I slipped in '94 in the 500, they thought, they call it a fall. No, it was a slip. But I get it. That's what. And honestly, if I didn't win 1,000, unfortunately, I'd be remembered for that, rather than winning 46 World Cup races. And
right.
It's the beauty and the heartbreak of the Olympics all in the same, example, because that's what it is. If it doesn't happen, we train, we get good, we get favored to win. And if it doesn't, you got to wait 4 years, and it's really tough. And I'll tell you, when it didn't happen those few times, especially, 88's one thing with Jane's passing the morning of my race. And, that one, I wasn't even there fully, mentally, certainly. But 92, I should have won. And I didn't. I just got beat. And then and then 94, the 500 meters, I slipped in the last turn. So those do, they do add up, and they are heartbreaking. I mean, tearing your heart out, but it's, you got to find a way. I think I learned the biggest, probably the best thing that come out of, losing my sister on that day was that you have to get up and you have to move forward, and you got to learn from situations, and life doesn't always go the way that you want it to or you plan it. And when it doesn't, you got to find other ways to keep moving forward.
And when you're a professional athlete, the pressure is great, let alone anytime you're in, whether it's the World Cup, like you mentioned, or any other race. When you're a pro, you're a pro. Yeah, when you get to the Olympics, different level.
Yeah, it really is. And, and it's for several of the reasons I mentioned. Number one, it's the one that's every 4 years. It's like, it's a good example. I got to speak to the U.S. team when golf got back into the Olympics in 2016, Ricky Fowler and Reed and Kuchar and those guys. And I was trying to give them an example maybe of what it feels like, what the Olympics mean to me, because to them, why would it mean that much? It's probably their fifth most important event of the year, right? They got 4 majors and they'd rather win those than the Olympics. And so for me, I'm like, guys, think about it this way. What if, pick one major? What if, take the Masters? What if it's the Masters? And then you just had that this April, right? And now you don't have one next April, or the one after that, or the one after that. And then 4 years you get to do it again, and that's the only one you got. Do you think you'd be a little more nervous? You think you'd feel a little more pressure, more patriotic, whatever it is? And they were like, oh yeah, I kind of get that. So, but that's just an example of what the Olympics are to us, especially as amateurs, and who just, as I said before, just go out there and do it for really the pride of ourselves and our country.
Yeah, so that's a great point, just talking about the mentality of an Olympic athlete, because it's not like there's nothing that happens in between those 4 years. Right. There's other championships and tournaments and things of that nature that the general public probably doesn't even know or follow. How do you, as an athlete, knowing that the goal, the dream of everything is still being on that podium and holding that gold medal, how do you focus your attention into those other championships and tournaments happening in between?
Yeah, and it's really the key to it, because you got to take it one at the most one season at a time. You always know, this many years away are the Olympic Games, and that's ultimately what you're shooting for. But you can't live like that and go and wake up in the morning, well, I got 3 more years of doing this, of running up a ski hill on Sunday mornings and weight training and skating in circles. And you take it, a season at a time, and then even break that down into, a month at a time or a week or whatever it may be. It's a great lesson on setting goals. You take them in the short term rather than the long term.
Dan Jansen, Olympic gold medalist, Wisconsin's own, and U.S. Olympic Hall of Famer, class of 2004. Cool, dude. What was your speech like?
Yeah, it was great. Bonnie and I got inducted in the same year, same ceremony. So that was very special, because Bonnie and I, we've known each other since, we were under 10 years old, probably 6 or 7. And to go to 4 Olympics together and then win gold medals together and then Hall of Fame together was unbelievable. But yeah, the speech was, I don't really remember everything. I do know that it was televised. I forgot to mention my wife, Karen. And so
shoot. I knew I forgot something. Darn
right.
it.
And so, but I don't know if you guys know Bart Connor. He was a gymnast, gold medalist, 84. He's married to Nadia. Anyway, he was presenting next. And I called him over. I'm like, Bart, I forgot to thank Karen. You have to change what's on the prompter and bring me back out there. And so he did. And I got to go
did he
thank
really?
him. He did, yeah.
That's incredible.
It was awesome. The producers are like, what's going on? You can't do this. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I got to thank my wife.
Absolutely.
Wow. Doghouse.
Yeah.
Doghouse.
Yeah. Yeah. But this way
was all cleared? Was all good?
Yeah, they were fine with, once there was nothing I could do.
No, we're not worried about
No,
them. We're
not
asking
them,
about
her.
your wife.
Oh, because of but if I hadn't gone back out there, who knows?
You recovered.
But the recovery was taken. Okay, good.
Exactly.
Good.
Exactly.
Whew. Dan, I wanted to ask you too. You also spent a little bit of time coaching in the NHL, which I thought was super interesting. Is that correct? With the
you froze for a little. Yeah, NHL. Yes, I did, and I tell you what, I had so much fun doing that. It was I had known Dale Talon was the GM for the Blackhawks, and played some golf events with him and so forth. And he asked me one day, he's like, "Hey, do you think that you could give these guys a step or two?" And I'm like, I'd sure love to try, because we watch hockey players and for so many years, and everything we do is about speed, efficiency, power, and it's gotten better. But in general, hockey players, they're quick, but they're not very efficient. They don't put all their power to the ice. That's all we care about is learning how to do that. And so, they're so skilled in other areas that sometimes their skating strictly like from here to there gets forgotten. And so I had a blast, three or four seasons with them, and the guys learned a lot. I think they liked the programs I was writing, and then I left in 2005, and then I think they won the Stanley Cup the following year. So I got no ring, but it's okay. We had a blast.
Dan Jansen joins us on Inside Wisconsin Sports here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. All right, Dan, before we let you go, thanks so much for the time, by the way. Always grateful when we reach out and you respond quick, man. So thanks.
Anytime.
When we
Love
asked
talking
Bonnie about her medals, and I said, hey, will you show us that? Because I knew there was a coffee table involved, and I knew it was in the Olympic rings. So I'm not asking for a tour of your house, but how close are you to your medal?
Oh, that's easy. Come on. Hang on.
All right, here we go.
Yes.
All right.
Bonnie showed us a torch she carried and her coffee table and trophies.
I love this.
Let me get the light. Yeah. Oops, right here. Let's see.
Oh, there's the torches.
There it is.
There it is.
Torches each side.
Where let me guess, the silver is in a lockbox or something? Just the gold in that one?
I only have one. I only got gold.
I thought you wanted silver too.
But you have what now this brings up to my point though. You do have championships in the World Sprint Championship. Those I didn't see next to the Olympic medal. Not good enough to make the wall, Dan. What's going on?
I know, and it's you're right, because World Cup races, World Championships, and the one that's up there is from. I guess that says something about how important the Olympics are to us.
I was always curious because you won the '88 World Sprint Championships in West Allis. Being born from West Allis, also myself being born from West Allis.
Nice.
So I went very familiar with you, and we went to Dan Jansen Fest growing up in Green. Very, very familiar. But I thought there had to be something special with that too. Obviously, it's not the Olympics, but that's still that one specifically. It's at home.
No,
it's in home
for sure. The World Championships are. It's the Olympics of that season for sure. It's all the same skaters. It's the best there are, and it's a big, big deal. And I don't know, but I don't have a great answer as to why those medals aren't up. But
next time we have you on, I'm going to see a whole new display right
exactly. I gotta go find those, and I'm like, wait, I gotta put this up.
See, those are in a lockbox. That's the problem. We gotta get them out of there.
Dan Jansen, Olympic gold medalist, Wisconsin's favorite. We really appreciate you jumping on with Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Will you be watching the Olympics? We take it. I'm sure you will.
I'm going over for this. Last 2 weeks of the game, so I'll be just. Going with some sponsors. No TV this year, but I'll be with the USOC, with US Speed Skating. So I can't wait watching Jordan Stoltz, and he's got a legit shot for 4 golds. So going to be a blast.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Love it.
Awesome.
Dan, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for jumping on. We'll talk to you again soon.
Anytime. Good talking to you guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, Dan. You too.
The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. That's so funny that when I say silver, He's like, I don't have a silver. Yeah, you do. It's just not in the Olympics.
Well, yeah. I mean, he also has 2 golds in
Right.
in the World Sprint Championships. So
yeah. So when he said, I don't have a silver, I'm like,
yeah. Well,
I think you might.
Well, yeah, just not. But that's the thing. That's why
Right.
it was so fun talking to him about like, and why I had asked about the non-Olympic competitions because
Exactly.
I feel like if you're going to be good in the Olympics, you have to be able to focus in on all of that. But to his point, where are those medals? I don't know. They're around.
That's
somewhere.
what I'm saying, right? So when I said that, and he's like, "Oh, I only have a gold." I'm like, "Boy, I really feel like I was prepared for this. I'm almost certain there's a silver something somewhere."
Yeah, check the silverware drawer. There's something in there. Oh, that was great.
Dan Jansen, that dude. When my grandparents grew up, my dad grew up in Milwaukee. My grandparents lived in Milwaukee, and every single time we drove past the Pettit National Light Center coming from Jefferson down 94 into Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
I was mesmerized by the Olympic gold rings, the Olympic rings on the side of the Pettit. I don't think they're there anymore.
I think
they
they
were
are.
Are they?
Yeah.
They definitely were when I was a kid. And every time we went past, my parents were like, guys, that's where Bonnie Blair and Dan Jansen trained. And I was like, oh, that is so cool. So cool. I'm a kid in a candy store with people like that. I think I told you, I completely geeked out when I talked to Bonnie Blair for the first time. Not Barry Alvarez, not any of these other athletes and names that we get to talk to doing the business that we do. Bonnie Blair and Dan Jansen. Like, I'm talking about childhood heroes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Bonnie Blair, I had been at multiple events, that I'd been at as a kid. And as I said, growing up in West Dallas, like you had to know who Dan Jansen was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was 4 when he won his gold medal. It's not like, I was in front of the TV having any idea what was going on, but it was just, you couldn't grow up in West Dallas and not know about Dan Jansen. You just couldn't.
Carrie from Tulsa on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. Carrie says, you're the best show ever. I grew up watching Dan Jansen and crying when his sister Jane died and he fell.
He slipped. When he slipped.
He fell twice.
No, he slipped.
No. Yeah, he slipped once, but he fell twice. Not a bunch, Trev.
Yeah, not a bunch.
Yeah, he fell. So the year that Jane passed away, I'm pretty sure it was the year that he self-admitted there just for a moment that he wasn't present, which nobody on this earth would blame him for.
Not at all.
And he did fall. I think he fell twice during the Olympics. But that's unfortunately what they highlighted that year. Right?
Yeah, I think
Here's
he slipped
a guy,
once because he said
he
so.
slipped once. He fell twice.
Right, but I'm believing Dan. So
none of that's a bunch, just so you're clear.
Right. The biggest thing is that he said that so confidently when he said, like, it wasn't a fall, it was a slip. And I was like, oh, I don't understand your sport. To me, you fell. But there must be a difference between falling and slipping. And if you're that confident saying, I didn't fall, I slipped, I'm going, okay, I believe you. Sure, bud.
The 414 says, love the interview, guys. Great job. Well, thanks for that. And honestly, that's what we try to do different. We really try to do that different on this show. Like, there's a lot of shows that interview a lot of people, and it's for the sake of news, not us. Do we want to chat with people that we recognize from what's going on currently? Yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, too, it's let's see if we can chat with some people that we all recognize that maybe we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah. This is a cheesy transition, but I'd love to grab a beer with Dan Jansen.
Hello. That's the next question. Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. When we come back, whether it's Dan Jansen, Bonnie Blair, J.J. Watt, you pick the favorite Wisconsin athlete that you grew up watching. Now you're of age and you get to go have a Miller Lite with them. Who is it? And what are some of the questions you would ask? Because remember, the more the sips, the looser the lips, and you might find out a thing or two.
Very interesting.
I think I want to take Ed Policy out for a beer. I'm going to ask him next time. Hey, you want to go for a beer?
Yeah. He'll be like, I'll take the usual. I don't want to try anything new.
Oh, Josh. Josh. Jeez. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook inside Wisconsin Sports. That's Josh. I'm Trevor. Noon with Kuhn today to find out more about the Packers' new D coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, when they chat with NFL insider Ross Tucker. 9 to noon, John Kuhn at 10:25 this morning here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht inside Wisconsin Sports. Our thanks to Dan Jansen for jumping on and chatting with us about the Olympic memories that he gave us. And that's the topic of our next conversation. There are a plenty of Wisconsin athletes over the years that are either from here or played here where you would look at them and go, damn, I'd love to have a beer with that person. So who would that be in your world? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line. If you could grab a beer with anybody and just shoot the bull, who would it be and why? Josh, who's yours?
Well, all right. So a few things. First, I want to get to the Nicolay Law fan talking text line and someone saying everyone's going to say Euchre, a Miller Lite with Euchre. I don't know anyone that wouldn't choose that. So I'm gonna say, because I want to hear different answers, let's leave Euchre out, because I agree. It's hard to say that you wouldn't want to hear Euchre stories and have a beer with Euchre. Then next for me, everyone's going to say, well, Giannis. Yeah, because I just want to meet Giannis. However, I don't think Giannis drinks, period. So that might be a rough time at the bar.
Some Wisconsinite he is.
If he's going to just say, like, I'll have a water. Okay, I'm going to have a Wisconsin water, a.k.a. a Miller Lite. I would go Mike.
No. Miller Lite is not water.
Okay.
You can't scoot that by me, brother.
Okay.
Take that offensively if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, apparently.
It got personal.
Can absolutely drink it as if it was.
That's different.
I would go, and this one's kind of out of left field, but I've met the man once, and he just seems like the coolest dude. Mike Daniels.
Huh.
Yeah, I know, right? You wouldn't see that coming. I had the opportunity to meet him at a charity softball game in a past life, and he was just such a funny, open dude, and he is also like into anime and things beyond just to where he's breaking down X's and O's with me, which I think would get kind of boring. And so I loved it. I loved that little interaction I had with him, and I'd love to sit with him and have a beer for an hour or two.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line. J-Rock in the 414 says Glenn Robinson, the big dog, and he'd ask him, do you think you were robbed in the Bucks-Sixers finals, game 6, ironically, of the Eastern Conference finals back in the day? That's a good one. I grew up playing baseball with Dan Jansen and his brother Mike in West Allis Rec Department League. Great athlete, and so was his brother Mike. The 414 says probably a beer with him at this point. Kids back then couldn't drink.
Sure.
The 520, I would grab a beer with Clay Matthews and AJ Hawk. Josh, where's the 520 area code? I feel like that's either Clay Matthews or AJ Hawk.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. Let me find out.
Incoming 4 million texts to have a Miller Lite with Euchre. Josh talked about that, and I don't disagree. But Euchre,
Arizona,
the player, maybe. However, it's Arizona.
Yeah.
A player, though, probably Reggie. I just know I'd feel better about life after a few hours and maybe a few beers with Reggie White. The 414. Nope, can't read. 715. Corey from the 715. I'd like to have a beer with Kuhn again. We might be able to set that up. Back in 2011, after the Super Bowl win, Kuhn, Tauscher, Hall, Clifton were at an autograph signing at Spare Bowl in Turtle Lake, Wisconsin. After the signing, Kuhn went behind the bar and was a bartender for about an hour. Well, we're going to ask him that coming up.
Yeah.
Bookmark that one. Jacob in a van. Matt Kenseth. Okay. I have a very fascinating Matt Kenseth story. So we had him on the podcast, the Inside Wisconsin podcast. I think he was within the first 20 episodes that John and I did back in the first year. We chatted with Matt. He was fantastic. 45-minute interview, something like that. We stopped recording and sat and chatted with Matt Kenseth for about an hour. The only thing missing was a Miller Lite. All of the stories he told us off of the recording, John and I are like, God, that was what and he thought, he talked about going up to Bob Euchre's box, the radio booth, and drinking a beer with him during the game. Matt Kenseth, he got a bad rap, by the way. I should reach out to him and see if he'd come on. It's about to be Daytona 500 season here, and he won it twice in his NASCAR career. We'll see. Might be able to pull some strings. All right. 414. Gronk. Feel like it would start with a beer and end with a booze ball.
Yeah, I mean, not Wisconsin, but fair. Gronk could be fun.
You're not telling them how to drink with something.
Okay.
414. I remember I was in 6th grade. It was a cold morning, so they let us in the building early rather than having to wait outside till the morning. Our teacher ran in the room yelling, Dan Jansen won the gold. Me and the other 5 kids were there. We went nuts. And I wrote Dan Jansen wins gold on the chalkboard. Robin Stallis. I love the Dan Jansen memories after we chat with him. 920, Brett Favre. The stories from those days would be golden. Carrie and Tosa. Donald Driver. Met him a few times. He has the best personality. He would be fun to have a drink with. Even if he didn't drink, frankly. Jeez, 920. I want to have a light and maybe pop a Vicodin with Brett Favre. Okay.
No, we're just having a beer.
No Vikes. Sterling Sharp says Scotty Tiffany, all-time favorite NFL player.
Fair enough.
The 262 says Eric Thames, who, by the way, sticks out in public like a sore thumb. There was a renowned surgeon here in Green Bay who did my Achilles surgery, and he also operated on the lower extremities of some very popular athletes in the day. And one was Eric Thames. He was sitting in the coffee shop that I was at with a big cast on his leg, and I was like, well, that's Eric Thames, because dude's jacked.
Yeah.
Like jacked beyond any other type of jacked. Josh and a big bowl of chili is the obvious answer here, says the 262.
Oh, thanks, burner phone.
414, Coach Bud. And then beg him to come back and coach the Bucks. The 262 says, I met Big Dog, and he will absolutely say they were screwed in 2001. And then he'll tell you that Ray Allen destroyed the team after that. Well, see, careful what you wish for with these beers.
I love this 414. Yeah, it's got to be Crosby for sure. I
think that's Crosby.
Yeah. You think that's Mason?
Yeah, it might be Mason
saying that?
Texting us.
I was thinking it was maybe Tommy Chonga saying that.
Tommy Chonga. It's got to be Crosby, right?
Yeah.
For sure. JJ in the Shaw, although he's not an athlete, I love to grab a beer or tree with Aaron Nagler. He loves the Packers and he loves soccer. So this is a good one. You actually can meet up with Nags. I saw Corey Banke yesterday. They do these meetups when there's Packer games, and they go to public places, and you can absolutely have a beer with them.
Yeah, carry the G beer, to be exact.
262 says, might be weird, but I love to sit down and drink a beer or a scotch with Aaron Rodgers. He's given me so many memories, and I love to hear all the behind-the-scenes stories of these memories. That's Bennett in Brookfield.
I think that's super interesting, and I'm with him. Like, if you wanted to just have an interesting conversation and hear a guy that's not going to give you like the fake stuff and say things just because he doesn't care, Rodgers would be a great one. You might leave that going, I didn't expect that, but I don't think it's going to be your general PR answers.
That's mine.
Aaron Rodgers?
Mine is Aaron Rodgers. I am insanely fascinated by that man. And I have publicly shared my displeasure with that man. Yet I know him separately in 2 different worlds. And I would love to sit down with him and have an off-the-cuff conversation about what it's all about. Because I really genuinely believe if I sat down and tried to get him and have a scotch with him, I'd be surprised. I have questions. I have questions.
And he has answers. Yeah.
He probably does have an answer or two. All right, a few more as we wrap up this conversation. Thanks for all the feedback. I mean, gosh, they're just flying in text message-wise. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. If you could pick anyone from your childhood here in Wisconsin and a sporting person, who would you want to sit down and have a beer with? Here's a few more. 608, this is Grandpa in Sun Prairie, Gorman Thomas. That boy put him back in the day. He's got some stories. The 414 says, Robin Yount. He'd know a ton about euchre if I can't sit down and talk with euchre. But seriously, Robin was my guy growing up. That's Ron and Salas. Josh, you can have a big bowl of chili with Giannis, the 414 says.
Please do. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
The 920 says Dick Bennett. He's got a hell of a story.
Mm-hmm.
Sal Frelick in Churio or Yelly in the 262. I was told there would be no math, but that's 3. This is the kind of topic, and I thought you guys would think it was funny. We're watching Nancy Kerrigan in the finals in like 95 or something, and all of a sudden my mom became a super fan when she was never before and yelled out, "Come on, Nance, land it, let's go." Geez, I remember that like yesterday too. Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah.
Those are some of the stories that are going to come out over the next few weeks. All right, a few more. Josh, what do you see?
Let's see. The 906, whoever that is, says David Bakhtiari and slamming the beers. Not have a beer, but slamming a few with him. Yeah, we've seen
He
that.
can do that really well.
Yeah, very, very famous for his beer chugs at other sporting events, mostly Bucks games. We have the 214 here also saying Reggie, a few people talking about Reggie White. Ryan and Lannon saying Don Mikowski or Raleigh Fingers, both characters in their own right. The 920 said Ken Maka. Find that very interesting. Why? Why Maka? That's an interesting one. I don't know that I would go there. I had a bunch of people as well. We had coming in there, as you mentioned, they're coming in so fast, that talked about Murph. I feel like on the surface level, there are some people that you'd go, oh, that'd be a blast. I feel like I would say one thing wrong to a guy like Murph and get super self-conscious in just sitting there, just being who they are. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, oh, that was dumb. Why'd I say that? Oh, okay. Sorry, Murph.
Yeah,
now
you've
I'm
heard stories
apologizing.
of people saying things to Murph. Brian Anderson tells a story about accidentally getting reprimanded, for lack of better terms, by Murph because he said something about I. And Murph looked to BA and went, "Wow, I didn't know you were an I guy." And I was like, well, I didn't know I was either until you pointed it out accidentally.
Right.
All right, let's get to break and ask John Kuhn about this whole bartending thing that somebody brought up here. He's joining us next as we cross over with 9 to noon. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We are inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Josh, you're not going to believe this. I just got a paragraph from Dan Jansen.
Okay.
Explaining the difference between a slip and a fall.
I knew it. I told you. You're he fell. I'm like, I don't know. He seems pretty confident it was a slip.
No, and he apologized. He's like, hey, man, forgive me if it sounded rude. I didn't mean for no, buddy. No, not rude at all. We had some fun with the idea and the difference between a slip and a fall. So grateful for Dan coming on. He says, always enjoy talking with you guys. Thanks again for doing what you do for Wisconsin sports. You bet. And thanks for listening.
Yeah,
appreciate
awesome.
that. All right, joining us now, our guy John Kuhn.
Wait a minute. So what's the difference between a slip and a fall?
Do you want me to read the whole paragraph?
I got to know the difference.
If he sent you a paragraph, he at least deserves the respect to have it read.
Well, I told him I would read it, but we only have a few minutes. So, yeah, I'll share it with you guys. He goes, all right, thanks for having me on. Sorry about the slip and fall confusion. Here we go. He says, to my point about people not really knowing the sport, I should probably explain that better. So to clarify, in 88, when his sister Jane died, that was the morning of his 500-meter race. And he fell that day and 4 days later in the 1,000-meter race. And I had mentioned that's what a lot of people remember because they played it over and over because he was supposed to, for whatever that's worth, win, right? So in 94 in the 500, he slipped in the last turn and he put his hand down, lost all of his speed, and then didn't fall onto the ice. So that's the difference in terms of the difference between a slip and a flat out fall where you go screaming across the ice. So this happen all the time.
A slip, you hold yourself, your hand touched, but you didn't completely fall.
I think a slip even qualifies as when your hand doesn't touch, right? So he says slips happen all the time, some big, some small, and falls are pretty rare. And then he clarifies and goes, and I think I actually fell 3 times, not twice, 3 times in his career. So
fair enough. Okay.
Anyway, super grateful for not only that clarity, but for him jumping on.
Yeah.
John, we were talking about if you could grab a beer with anybody in Wisconsin sports history from your childhood or that grew up here or that played with us here. Some people said, well, Dan Jansen, that would have been amazing to sit down and talk with him about all the behind the scenes stuff at the Olympics. And then we got a text that said, how about that John Kuhn guy? Oh, wait, I've actually had a beer with him. You guys were doing some sort of signing after the Super Bowl, and you jumped behind the bar, started serving beers.
Yeah. That's not uncommon. What would I pick? Who would I pick in all of the history? See, to me, it's less about the person and more about the beer. It's more about who am I going to enjoy my beer with, right? There's a lot of Wisconsin sports players and coaches that would be great to sit down and talk to. But if you're enjoying a beer, who are you going to enjoy the beer with, and who's going to enjoy the beer right back with you? I'm going to have to go Max McGee. It's going to have to be Max McGee from the Packers in Super Bowl I, staying out till the wee hours of the morning before getting to play in that game for Boyd Dowler and scoring the first touchdown in Super Bowl history. I got to know how many did you tie on that night? And I got to know, did you expect to really go out there and perform the way that you did? Yeah, it'd be Max McGee for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's got some stories ripping. I think a lot of those guys ripped heaters in the locker room. Anybody ripping heaters in the locker room these days, John?
These days, no. Okay, it's different. I'm going to say it like this, and this is meant to be satirical, but this is the plant-based soy generation. Okay?
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody is so worried about their health and their nutrition and everything that's going on. I don't even know if these guys drink beer, to be honest with you. It's absolutely crazy. And this is the cell phone generation. So the locker room, there's not a whole lot of playing dominoes or cards or backgammon or any of that stuff because they're all checking out the gram and TikTok and all that other stuff. But hey, that's the way generations roll. They're different than the generation before them, and they don't understand each other. And I don't think that's very different no matter where you go around the NFL.
The gram.
Yeah.
You guys played a bunch of cards on the plane back in the day, didn't you?
Cards, dominoes, backgammon. Yeah, we got into it. All kinds of card games too. We had a blast. Our team was very close. I had TJ Lang on the Tundra podcast yesterday, and we were going down memory lane, and he said just that. He said even in Detroit, he can tell in their locker room They're a good close team, just like the Packers are a good close team. But there's a difference between good and close and being like downright invasive in each other's space because you're so close. And that's kind of the way that we were.
That's awesome.
What's coming up from 9 to noon?
Oh, let me pull up the show doc here because I already seen.
Well, you guys are having somebody on from
we
the
got
NFL
Ross
Insider,
Tucker on.
Ross Tucker. Yeah,
we got Ross Tucker on. He's fantastic. He calls games for CBS, college sports, NFL. He calls stuff for Westwood One, which is heard right here on All Odyssey Network. So we'll have Ross on. He also is the color analyst for the Philadelphia Eagles in the preseason. So follows that team very, very closely and has a very good feeling of what we got here in Jonathan Gannon. So we'll break that down with him along with some other NFL stuff.
that's coming up at 10:25 on 9 to noon with former Packers fullback John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. John, we'll stay tuned. We'll talk to you in a bit.
All righty.
Thanks, John.
9 to noon with Kuhn coming up next from literally 9 to noon. That Ross Tucker interview happens at 10:25.
He made it seem like it was a everyday occurrence, that if he was somewhere and there was a bar, he'd hop behind it. Like maybe in a different life, John Kuhn just wants to be a bartender. You know,
I drank beers with John Kuhn when we were in Texas together earlier this year.
Yeah.
My friends that were along can't wait to have beers with John Kuhn again.
Yeah. I've also been fortunate enough to hang out with Johnny a few times, and we've also ended up behind the bar a few times.
Rough next morning. Great time that night.
Fun times.
Always a rough next morning. All right. Our thanks to Dan Jansen. What a gem. I mean, a true Wisconsin gem. So grateful that he jumped on with us to chat all things Olympics and what it was like for him back in the heyday when he won gold. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
And we'll see you tomorrow because we're not done yet.